One quiet morning in a peaceful forest, a crow sat high on the branch of a tree. She had just found something special, a fresh piece of cheese. It wasn't easy to get. Maybe she had searched for hours, maybe she had taken a risk to grab it. But now there she was, holding her prize tightly in her beak. From up there, she could see everything. The trees below, the soft wind moving the leaves, the empty ground where no one could reach her. It was the perfect place to enjoy her food. Safe, calm, and alone, or at least that's what she thought. Not far away, a fox was walking through the forest. He was hungry, not just a little hungry, the kind of hungry that makes your mind sharper, your eyes more alert. He had been searching for food, but nothing had worked. No small animals, no leftovers, nothing easy to catch. And then he saw her. High on that branch, the crow sat with the cheese in her beak. To the fox, it wasn't just food, it was an opportunity. But there was a problem. The crow was out of reach. He couldn't climb like a cat. He couldn't fly like a bird. So how do you take something you can't reach? You use your mind. The fox stopped and looked up at the crow. He didn't rush. He didn't bark or try to scare her. Instead, he smiled. A calm, clever smile. He knew something important. Sometimes, strength isn't enough. Sometimes, words are stronger. He walked slowly to the base of the tree and looked up as if he had just noticed her. "Oh my," he said in a warm and admiring voice. "What a beautiful bird I see above me." The crow heard him. She didn't move, but her attention shifted. Compliments are hard to ignore, even when we pretend we don't care. The fox continued. "Your feathers," he said, "they shine so perfectly in the light. I've never seen such a rich, elegant color. Truly, you must be the most graceful bird in this forest." Now the crow was listening closely. She had always believed she looked good, but hearing someone else say it, that felt different. That felt better. The fox wasn't done. "And your posture," he added. "So confident, so proud. You sit like a queen. In fact, if your voice is as beautiful as your appearance, then without a doubt, you deserve to be queen of all the birds." That was the moment. The crow felt something change inside her. Pride grew quickly, like a flame. She wanted to prove him right. She wanted to show that she wasn't just beautiful, she was impressive in every way. There was only one problem. Her beak was still closed, holding the cheese, but she didn't think about that. Not really, because when pride takes over, logic often disappears. So the crow, feeling hugely flattered and eager to prove him right, decided to show off. She opened her beak wide, still holding the cheese firmly at first. Then, just to let him hear how sweet her voice could be, she let out a loud, proud caw. It echoed through the trees, sharp and raspy, startling a few nearby squirrels that scampered away in surprise. The sound bounced off the leaves and carried across the forest, full of confidence and joy at being admired. In that exact moment, the piece of cheese slipped from her open beak. It tumbled through the air, flipping end over end, the creamy yellow color flashing in the sunlight. It landed with a soft thud right at the fox's paws on the soft grass below. The fox didn't waste a second. He darted forward, his quick legs carrying him the short distance in a flash. His sharp teeth snapped up the cheese, and he held it securely in his mouth for a moment, tasting the salty, melty goodness. A satisfied grin spread across his muzzle as he looked back up at the crow. She sat there frozen on the branch, her beak still open in shock. The warm feeling of flattery drained away fast, replaced by a sinking regret that made her feathers droop. She stared down at the fox, realizing too late what had just happened. Her wings twitched, but there was nothing she could do now. The cheese was gone. The fox chewed a small bite, savoring it slowly, then looked up again with a knowing sparkle in his eyes. He spoke clearly, his voice still smooth but now carrying a hint of playful teasing. "You have a voice, madam, I see. What you want is wits." And with that, he walked away. The crow stayed on the branch, silent now. No cheese, no pride, just the quiet realization of what had happened. She hadn't been tricked by force. She had been tricked by words. Now, here is where the story gets interesting. Because this isn't really about a fox and a crow, it's about something we see every day. Think about it. How many times have people used nice words to get what they want? How often do we hear compliments that sound good, but aren't really honest? The fox didn't care about the crow's beauty. He didn't care about her voice. Every word he said had one goal, to make her drop the cheese, and it worked. Not because the crow was foolish, but because she wanted to believe him. That's the key. Flattery works best when it matches what we already want to hear. The crow wanted to feel admired. She wanted to feel important. So when the fox gave her exactly that, she didn't question it. She accepted it, and that's where she lost. But let's go deeper. Imagine if the crow had paused for just 1 second. Imagine if she had asked herself, "Why is this fox praising me so much?" She might have noticed something strange. A hungry fox doesn't usually stop to give compliments. A stranger doesn't usually call you a queen without a reason. If she had stayed quiet, she would still have her cheese. If she had ignored the praise, the fox would have failed. But she didn't. Because the truth is, compliments can feel powerful. They can make us act differently. They can make us forget what really matters, and that's exactly what happened. Now you might think, well, I wouldn't fall for something like that. Maybe not in the same way, but it happens in subtle ways all the time. Someone praises your work just before asking for a favor. Someone flatters you before trying to sell you something. Someone tells you exactly what you want to hear right before you make a decision. And in those moments, the real question is not, are they being nice? The real question is, why are they saying this? Because sometimes, behind the kind words, there's a hidden intention, just like the fox. Now, to be fair, not all compliments are bad. Many are real, honest, and meaningful. The problem isn't praise itself. The problem is when we stop thinking, when we accept every nice word without question. When we let our pride speak louder than our judgment, that's when we become vulnerable. The crow didn't lose her cheese because she was weak. She lost it because she didn't stop to think. And the fox, he didn't win because he was strong. He won because he understood something simple. People are easier to influence when they feel good about themselves. That's a powerful lesson, and it's one worth remembering. Because next time someone tells you exactly what you want to hear, you might want to ask yourself, is this real or is this a trap? In the end, the crow learned that lesson the hard way. One moment of pride cost her everything she had, and the fox walked away satisfied, not just because he got the cheese, but because his plan worked perfectly. A few words, a little flattery, and a simple mistake. That's all it took. So here's the challenge for you. The next time someone praises you, don't reject it, but don't accept it blindly either. Pause, think, and make sure you're not about to drop your own piece of cheese. Because sometimes the biggest mistakes don't come from what we don't know, they come from what we want to believe.